Hi, today we are going to dig into a day in the life of our homeschool family, a homeschool day in a 10-year-old girl who does Sonlight Education Ministry curriculum, but also with a mix of Charlotte Mason philosophy. Hi, I'm Jenny. Welcome to Missionary Moms, where we help you to be a better missionary to your first mission field, your children, and to those around you. I homeschool my oldest daughter, who is 10, and we live full-time in an RV. This video won't particularly highlight that aspect of it, but you might notice how we do our homeschool in smaller areas using the kitchen table, the couch, so forth. So come along with me and let's check it out. So I start my day waking up before the kids get up, and I like to start cooking breakfast. Sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's a little more complicated. And I have my cup of warm lemon water, fill up my water bottle. I think it's important that you take some time for yourself in the morning to prepare your mind and your heart. As a Christian mother, it's important that you set the example, whether your kids see you doing devotions or not. And so I, of course, spend my time with Jesus. And then I go and exercise, whether that's at my home gym or when we're traveling at a gym that's nearby. We then have family worship, and we try to keep that around 30 minutes. And we discuss different topics. At the end of our devotion time, our family worship time, we memorize the scripture. And after worship, we have breakfast. Today, you can see I made some delicious fruit sauce and pancakes. Then it's time for the kids to head over to the chore chart, check their chores. They've pretty well memorized the cycle that we have, and they get to it. It's not always as simple as this video makes it to look. Sometimes there's motivations needed, positive and negative consequences, and we get it done best we can. After the chores, I let them take a little time outside to get a little energy out. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes. We don't have a set time as of right now for our homeschool to start. But once I've taken care of a few things that I need to get done and the house is back in order from breakfast, then we get right into some homeschool. We're going through the health book right now. We are on page 3, as you can see. And in this case, I am doing a reading to my daughter, reading it with emphasis, with joy. And then she is going to be giving me back a narration. What a narration does is it helps them to recall the information that spoke to them. I think narrations are better than just asking random questions. Sometimes questions prompt the narration, but it's more like a natural conversation that you would have about a good book. This is a philosophy taken from Charlotte Mason. Narrations can also come in several forms. They can either be oral narrations, they can be written or drawn, and I'll do another video on narration specifically and the benefits of it.
We need to study the parts of the body so we can understand them and know how they work, and they all work together to give. No, they all, what's it called? They all
Take
to give there. Take to give. And so, like,
can you give an example? Yeah.
The stomach, you get, it brings in food, and then the food, it gives the food, well, the nutrients in the food to other organs so they can help the food still go out, and then your bladder helps it go into the potty.
So it takes to give, right? Very good.
And it says...
and that's the law of love, isn't it?
Only our selfish heart is the only thing in our body that is selfish.
Takes to keep for itself.
Yeah.
Here, my daughter is doing spelling cards. I have a video, I'll link it below, on how to do spelling cards. We do those once a week. And while my daughter is doing a spelling card, I check on my other little ones, and they are doing coloring. And I also try to have my kids doing something productive while I'm homeschooling my older one before I go ahead and start lunch. I will say in this video, this was not an actual day in our homeschool. I try to vary the different writing that my daughter does. So if we were doing a spelling card, that might be the only thing she does, because it is actually pretty intensive. People usually do a worksheet, maybe part of the worksheet. And right now we're working on flashcards with math. Let me show you her notebook. So I'm going to show you what we do for spelling. At the beginning of each week, I go and I look at the memory verse, and then I use the words in the memory verse to pick out the spelling words. So you can see I have my spelling words here. I give her a list of about 10 words, but some of them are from the previous week. I don't believe in moving on to new words until the words that we currently have are mastered. You can see that part of her practice for her spelling words is actually writing out the memory verse, and that is with good penmanship. This is called copy work in the Charlotte Mason homeschool. And I also have her do her spelling words, but she looks up Bible verses that go with the spelling words. So one day she might write all the words 3 times. The next day she will write the words 3 times and then look up the Bible verse and write the section of the Bible verse that goes along with the word. Here are some examples of some narrations. I try to tailor it to what my daughter can handle as far as how much writing, and each subject that we do, I tailor it so that she's not overwhelmed with too much writing or too much of one subject. Now, this is something we did on another day, was we did in the health book, it had an option of doing a survey. So she is on Canva learning how to do some computer skills. We have our lunch. In the afternoon, we will typically put on an audio book after they've played a good bit outside, and we will do some arts and crafts, or they might do some what we would call handicrafts, like sewing. Right now they're working on the gem art while we listen to an audio book. That we would incorporate in the afternoons, some industry. When the day is done, after the kids have had their supper, a light supper, we have family worship, and family worship in the evening consists of reading a missionary story. So Daddy usually is the one who reads it. He's very good at reading. I thought I'd show you what I kind of planned for this week. We do a 4-day week, and right now we're working on flashcards with math. I do plan to get a more solid curriculum for math. I'm going to do Christian Light likely. And you can see I break up the spelling into doable sections. And if you would like some of these worksheets that I am making for my daughter, then feel free to comment that you want it in the comment section below. Elements that are important to us is copy work, doing your best effort, shorter lessons, and keeping it varied between the subjects. I try to do something that works a different part of the brain, varying between each subject. So we might do math, which works a different part of the brain than the writing. Then we might do our health book, which has to do with writing and narration. And depending if she's done a lot of writing in the week, I'll go ahead and have her do an oral or a drawing narration. And then we like to do spelling, which is also some writing. And then sometimes I'll throw in a craft or something that has to do with the health lesson. Well, I hope this has been helpful.